Hello, and welcome to Ivani's Blacked Out Stories, where fictions meet reality.
Hello, and welcome back to my Blacked Out Stories. And today, we dive into a hateful tale of anger, rejection, and narcissism. It's about a father who starts to hate his children and parenthood. So sit back and do not forget to subscribe for more content.
I wish I never became a father. It ruined my life. My wife and I used to be so happy. 8 years ago, we were newlyweds, deeply in love and loved traveling, and were enjoying life. Then she got pregnant. We were overjoyed. My son was born. Then, 2 years later, we had twin boys. It only got worse as time went on. My son has a lot of anger and behavioral issues. This has pretty much only gotten worse as he's gotten older. I've had to work 2 jobs for 3 years. Now to be able to afford therapy for him, we've had to have him move schools multiple times. Really, all he's done since he's been born is make my wife and me miserable. Just the other day, I came home after working a total of 15 hours at 2 jobs, and I said, "Hey son," and do you know what he said to me? "Fuck you, Dad." After I came home from a long day working hard to put food on the table and pay for all of his behavior therapy, on the off chance that he'll become a functioning adult someday. After, I circled my block 4 freaking times because I was dreading coming home like every other day. I got up in his face and I said, "You know what? Fuck you too." Then I walked off and took a shower and went to bed. The fucked up part is I don't even feel bad. He treats my wife, his brothers, and myself like shit 99% of the time while we all cuddle to his meltdowns and try to be loving and supportive of him like the shrinks say. As for the twins, they aren't as hateful or troublesome, but are both on the autism spectrum, so that's definitely made things harder too. As much as I love them, they have some really annoying quirks and other habits. Probably from being on the spectrum, I don't know. But it's typical for them to run around playing and screaming while my oldest son has a meltdown. We've never been able to go anywhere and have a good time as a family. One of the kids usually. My oldest always fucks it up. We're actually banned from our local Olive Garden because I had the bright idea to take us all out to a family dinner last year. Never will I do that again. I don't know how my wife does this mess all day while I'm at work. She's a better person than I am, but I think it's starting to hit her. I caught her up one night when I got home late, just sitting in bed crying. Our children, as much as we might love them, are ruining our lives and straining our marriage. We haven't had sex in almost 4 whole months. This summer has been particularly bad too. Reading this, you're probably thinking I'm a shitty dad, and honestly, you're probably right. Not once have I ever done anything for any of these 3 that's actually helped them. All I know how to do is work myself to death and make money. My own dad left when I was a baby, and my siblings were toddlers and preschoolers. I always hated him for that, but after the last few years especially, I get it. Everything I've ever heard about the man has been bad. He was a shit dad like me, except he decided to walk out. I'm not gonna walk out like he did. I could never do that to my wife, but to be honest, I don't hate my own father as much as I used to after the last handful of years.
And now for the comments, but before we move forward, please take time to subscribe. My wish is to grow the channel. And now comment number 1.
OP, you have been dealt a really rough hand. You are not in the wrong to feel this way. No one wants to feel unappreciated and demeaned after working so hard for their family. I'd say you're a good person going through a tough time. I don't have any advice to give except go easy on yourself.
Next comment.
OP, focus on your wife. When you're home, let her know that she comes first in your life. Someday those kids will be gone. But it's you and your wife forever. Edit, I know someone who was a nightmare as a kid and is totally great now on the right combo of meds. Keep grinding, try to keep it under control. There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Next comment.
I'm a dad with a remarkably easy kid, certainly by comparison with what you are dealing with. I think you're an awesome dad. Mine is at worst. I'm really pissy at you, old at times. And we both get frustrated and let him have it. It is nowhere near the test of our adultness that you are facing. Don't beat yourself up. It is completely natural to fantasize about escaping an awful situation.
OP finally replies with,
Thanks, man. I won't lie. I always get so jealous hearing other dads talk about their kids and their accomplishments or how close they are, etc. I've never met my dad, so I never experienced any of that, and when my wife told me she was pregnant, and when we found out it was a boy, I pictured all of this fun stuff. Instead, I got a kid who has constant outbursts, isn't doing well in school, hates me, hates his mom and his brothers. This isn't what I wanted for him. I don't know what bothers me more, seeing my kid always struggling and miserable or dealing with how his mental and behavioral issues run my life now.
And now for a reply from a subredditor.
I hear you. I have a child who is exactly the same, and probably even worse. Swears, curses, insults, girls abuse, and I'm afraid it gets worse before it gets better, but it does get better. My other kids are great, and so is my wife. We tend to go out as a family without said child because A, she doesn't want to go, and B, she'll ruin it. Since we started doing this, we all have fun, including my daughter, who stays at home. It's tough, and you perfectly justified in feeling this way, but you got this. Be there for your wife and your other kids, and know that it does get better eventually.
Well, that concludes my blacked out stories for now. If you enjoyed this story, kindly subscribe, like, and share. And let me know in the comments section what you would do in this situation.
And that concludes this story. And hopefully you enjoyed it. And if so, please consider my invitation to subscribe for more Avani's Blacked Out Stories.